guys are not going to like my answer at all. And the biggest revelation so far is how fucking good Luka is. Dude, these numbers are insane. So he's accounted for. No,
favorite rookie based on what we've seen so far, and I think you can start off. You can start this.
Here.
What do you
Don't
mean?
be a homer.
Yo, I have a trade for you guys that is too good for the Indiana Pacers to pass up on. Let's jump right into it. The Pacers, they're receiving James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga. The Warriors get that all-star stud at center in Myles Turner and a 2023 first-round pick. Wiseman, the second overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft, hasn't quite panned out yet with the Warriors due to injury for the most part. While he hasn't looked particularly impressive so far in the present campaign, the young big man definitely warrants some benefit of the doubt considering his post-injury resharpening his current role and his sheer upside. Meanwhile, my man Jonathan Kuminga had a solid rookie season despite being lodged behind the Warriors veterans in their championship campaign. He has been surprisingly in and out of the rotation so far. He hasn't been able to crack Steve Kerr's veteran-heavy groups, but with his freakish athleticism, defensive upside, versatility, and his finishing ability, which is ridiculous, it's a much safer bet to bank on him flourishing sooner than later. Look, you have to take everything into account. Should the Indiana Pacers pull the trigger on this deal if it comes to the table? But before we get to the verdict, I have a question for you guys. Would you take player A or take player B? Should the Indiana Pacers agree to this deal if it's offered on the table? Well, the idea of trading an expiring contract and a lottery-protected first-rounder in exchange for two tremendous projects who could easily flourish in a new environment is, sentimental feelings aside, a virtual no-brainer. It's not common for two high draft selections with an obvious upside to become available, much less as returns for a player deemed to be a flight risk. Between Wiseman and Kuminga, the Indiana Pacers could have a couple of potential franchise cornerstones who present easy fits with the current core. The former remains an uber-efficient post scorer who can hit the occasional jumper. Look, his defense and intangibles remain so-so at the moment, but his physical gifts are more than enough to turn expectations into an eventual reality. Meanwhile, the latter is a springy, versatile forward who could immediately cover for the team's lack of length and become a lethal force with his untapped scoring potential. However, to be very quite honest, expecting the Warriors to even put these on the table is a reach. Despite their slow start, Golden State is a safe bet to make the playoffs, and touting one of the smartest front offices in sports. So expecting them to simply give up on their meticulously minted young core to take a gamble on a possible one-year rental is inarguably malpractice. Look, simply put, should the Indiana Pacers do this deal? Hell yes. Now, let's get back to that question I asked you a little bit earlier. Would you take player A or take player B? Well, the Indiana Pacers took player B, and that ended up being DeAndre Ayton. And player A? Well, that's the guy that we're trying to trade right now in Myles Turner.